My name is Sari van Poelje. I'm the director of Intact Academy and of Team Agility. You can find our programs for coaches and consultants online, www.intactacademy.com. The other side of my work is I'm an Agile Business Innovation designer, and I've been that for 33 years, even before the title was decided on or invented by the current fads. I was helping businesses innovate more quickly than their products. You can find all of that information on www.teamagility.com. So I'm talking about membership at the moment. And membership because I'm really concerned about the split in society now, certainly in the crisis of COVID, between people who are placing themselves outside of membership and people who are actually saying, well, I'm a member and that's why at this moment in time I have to adapt a bit. And that tension between the two, I'm interested in that tension for membership. We talked about membership as being part of structure. We talked about membership as being part of a relational network. But we're also talking about membership at a deeper level, the existential or psychodynamic level, which means that if you become a member of a group, you also have to think, am I willing to accept the values and ethics in this group? Am I willing to accept the imago, the image of the group that is fashioned by our unconscious processes in groups? That's a whole different webinar. We'll talk about that another time. But one example is I am in a group of professionals. And in that group of professionals lately, we've done an exercise where we co-constructed the values in the group together to come to 4 key values. And then we were asked by the facilitator to stand in front of each person in that group and to say, my name is, I will contribute this, I want this from the group, I will adhere to the values and ethics we've just decided on, I want to be confronted on it, and then to ask explicitly to each member of the group, do you accept me as a member? This is a really, really powerful exercise and not to be taken lightly, because at the existential level, so we would say in TA, at the script level, you're doing something to create commitment, almost tribal commitment in a group. It's not to be recommended to do in a group of loose individuals or even a team, but if you want to create more of a tribal sphere, it could be a good exercise. The problem with this exercise in this case, and this is really talking about the psychodynamic level, is that we had not agreed beforehand what would happen if someone would not be accepted by the other people in the group. And we also didn't agree what would happen if people didn't want to participate in the exercise at all. So what's actually happened is that this group was going to create commitment at the psychodynamic level. So really at this value level, we co-created the values, fantastic exercise. But then this next step of saying, I commit, will you accept me? Some people have done it, some people haven't. What does that mean? What was supposed to be something that would bind us is actually now something that is splitting us because we didn't agree this beforehand. Now, becoming a member of the group means that you, at the deepest level, accept the values and ethics in that group. And I sometimes think, well, listen, membership at the structural level, adapting to a structure or to the rules or to the decision-making processes, that's negotiable. You can, talk to the leaders of that system and you can say, look, this isn't working. Let's change the laws. Let's change the processes of decision-making. That's something that in a democratic process in a group is possible. And as a member, you have a lot of influence. Not everyone takes it, but you actually do have a lot of influence. And I'd really encourage people to take that influence seriously. At the relational level, being a member of a group, you can negotiate about the network of relationships. You can position yourself in proximity or at a distance from people. You can say, I don't want to work with you. I do want to work with you. This network of relationships in any society or organizations is constantly changing depending on how close or far you feel from someone. And this level of intimacy, this regulation of intimacy, we do that through communication. And that's also a different webinar. I think I've talked about this before, the regulation of intimacy. So that's negotiable as well. That's fine. The question I really have is, in this group in particular, but also in general, when you commit as a member to the ethics and values of a group, is that really negotiable? So is it possible to say, if you want to be a group or a team or a tribe, is it possible to say some people are allowed to not respect ethics and values? Or is that a really 1-0 decision? So that means that at the existential level, and I kind of have a tendency to think that, structure you can negotiate, relationship you can negotiate, more touchy-feely stuff there. But at the really basic unconscious psychodynamic levels of groups, when you say, will you accept me as a member? I accept the ethics and values. Will you accept me as a member? It's actually, I think, non-negotiable. You're either in or out. And that's why we have such clear laws and constitutions. Of course, this is a difficult thing. You could also say it's an ethical dilemma, and how much space is there in that? But if you really co-create values and you say, this is it, we, for instance, we adhere to transparency, everything we do is transparent, and someone says, actually, I want to keep my secrets. This is up to the leaders and the members together to decide, is it even possible to have members at that level who will not adapt? That's the question I really have for you. How negotiable do you think these levels are? And how consequent are you in your organization or society about allowing people at that psychodynamic level to differ or not?